In 2014, he shouted "Go!", drove an armored vehicle through a Russian barricade, and rescued besieged police officers. When soldiers died at a training center he commanded, he resigned. Nobody asked him to. Ukraine has a new commander-in-chief, Mykhailo Drapatyi, the man now leading Ukraine's entire military. The crowds chanted his name, Kyiv demanded change. And President Zelensky listened. Ukraine's military leadership has changed, and this time the pressure did not come from the battlefield alone. For nearly a week, thousands of protesters filled the streets of Kyiv, demanding change at the very top of Ukraine's armed forces. Their message grew louder with each passing night, and one name echoed through the crowds again and again: Mykhailo Drapatyi. President Volodymyr Zelensky has appointed the respected battlefield commander as Ukraine's new commander-in-chief. Night after night, Drapatyi's name was chanted through the streets of the Ukrainian capital, reflecting growing public confidence in the 43-year-old general, who is widely regarded as one of Ukraine's most respected military commanders. On the evening of July 21st, President Zelensky acted and announced his appointment.
I determined that the new commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine will be Mykhailo Drapatyi. Together with Mykhailo, Yevgeny Kamara, acting defense minister, Pavlo Palisa, Zelensky office deputy head, we determined how the configuration of the general staff of the armed forces of Ukraine should be updated.
Shortly after the announcement, Drapaty thanked the president for placing his trust in him and described the appointment as a new stage in his service to Ukraine. In a statement published on Facebook, he said,
"Serving Ukraine has always been an honor for me, and during the war for independence, it means absolute responsibility. I will work responsibly, with focus, and with respect for the people who are defending our state today."
But who is Mykhailo Drapatyi? Drapaty, the commander of the joint forces responsible for the Ukrainian defences in the northeastern direction, is described by his colleagues as a general of a new generation whose career was shaped in combat against Russian troops. During his 26 years in the army, he rose through the ranks from a tank lieutenant to one of Ukraine's most effective combat commanders. Drapaty has fought Russian troops in Ukraine for more than a decade. He became famous in 2014 during the Donbas attack, when he shouted "Go!" at the driver of an armoured fighting vehicle in Mariupol and tore through a Russian barricade on a mission to rescue besieged police officers. That same year, he led an encircled force that fought its way through Russian territory to freedom. After Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022, Drapaty became the go-to commander for areas of the front where the situation was most dire and in need of a swift turnaround. In summer 2024, he stopped a Russian incursion near the city of Kharkiv, stabilized the front line, and soon after became the youngest ever commander of the Ukrainian land forces, one of the most senior posts in the Ukrainian army. As the commander of the land forces, Drapaty tried to implement reforms, revamping the recruitment and training systems, but his tenure was short. When Russia struck an army training center in June 2025, killing at least 12 and wounding dozens of Ukrainian soldiers, Drapaty resigned, saying he felt personally responsible for the tragedy. His resignation then stunned many in Ukraine. Shortly after that, he was appointed to the lesser but more combat-focused role of Joint Forces Commander. Drapaty was born in 1982 in Kamyanets-Podilskye in western Ukraine. In 2004, he graduated from the Kharkiv Tank Forces Institute and started as a lieutenant in the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade in the Kyiv region. He is married and has a son and a daughter. His appointment comes at one of the most difficult periods of the war, with Ukraine continuing to face intense Russian military pressure while also confronting internal debates over strategy, leadership, and the future direction of its armed forces. Ukraine's wartime leadership has entered a new chapter. After days of political turmoil, public protests and intense speculation, President Volodymyr Zelensky has made the biggest military shake-up since Russia's full-scale invasion. General Alexander Syrskyi is out as commander-in-chief, and in his place comes Major General Mykhailo Drapatyi, a younger battlefield commander seen by many as the face of a new generation of Ukrainian military leadership. The move is being viewed as an attempt to restore confidence at a critical stage of the war. On July 21st, Zelensky announced that Major General Mykhailo Drapatyi will become the new commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine.
I determined that the new commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine will be Mykhailo Drapatyi. Together with Mykhailo, Yevgeny Kmara, acting defense minister, Pavlo Palisa, Zelensky office deputy head, we determined how the configuration of the general staff of the armed forces of Ukraine should be updated.
While announcing the change, Zelensky praised Syrskyi for his service, crediting him with leading several of Ukraine's most significant military achievements since the war began.
I am grateful to outgoing military chief Alexander Syrskyi and every one of our soldiers for Ukraine's strong frontline positions. I am grateful to Mykhailo Drapatyi for having precisely the same view. Today, with Alexander Syrskyi and Andriy Hanatov, Chief of General Staff, we talked about further service formats and the correct transfer of affairs.
Zelensky also said that he had offered former Defense Minister Mykhailo Fedorov a decent post.
I had a meeting with former Defense Minister Mykhailo Fedorov today. I offered Mykhailo a worthy position in the government, which would allow unity of the technological component of our state to ensure its development.
Separately, Zelensky confirmed that he met with outgoing Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Syrskyi and Chief of the General Staff Andriy Hanatov to discuss the transfer of responsibilities and their future roles within Ukraine's defense structure. Notably, Syrskyi's tenure had increasingly come under pressure. Although respected for his battlefield experience, he faced persistent criticism over what some soldiers described as a rigid command style that resulted in unnecessarily high casualties. Those concerns erupted into public view following last week's government reshuffle, triggering days of demonstrations that exposed deep divisions within Ukraine's military and political leadership. The appointment of 43-year-old Drapaty is widely seen as a response to those concerns. A veteran of more than a decade of fighting against Russian forces, Drapaty previously commanded Ukraine's land forces between 2024 and 2025 and is regarded as a military leader who embraces modern technology and innovation on the battlefield. His appointment has also received support from former Defense Minister Mykhailo Fedorov, who described the reshuffle as a breath of fresh air and new hope for Ukraine's armed forces.
Congratulations to Major General Mykhailo Drapatyi on his appointment as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. This is a breath of fresh air and a new source of hope in the fight of free people for freedom and justice. It is the voice of change that could no longer be ignored.
As Ukraine continues fighting Russia, the change in military leadership represents far more than a routine appointment. It signals a new direction for the country's armed forces, as Kyiv seeks to combine battlefield experience with fresh thinking at one of the most decisive moments of the war.